Welcome, St. Lucia. Welcome back to What's Happening Now. I am personally jazzed to be here. We had a 1 week hiatus, and I feel like it's been a month, honestly speaking. So I'm very, very, very happy to be back. The carnival season and craziness is all over, thank God. And we're back on. We're back on. It's like I said, I feel like I've been off for a month, and every time I have these little breaks, I think to myself, oh, I'm going to relish the rest. And then the following week or the rest of the week goes by, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing something. So it's very, very nice to be back. I feel like I'm back home. Uh, Today we're going to have an open mic, and that's simply because we haven't had one in a little while, and so many residual issues are just piling up. And I know you want to have your say without being cornered or boxed in to a specific topic. Although we usually accommodate, we try to accommodate other issues when we have a guest or a topic, a specific topic. But tonight, I deliberately decided not to have a guest simply because I wanted to talk with you. I wanted to hear from you what your issues are, what your grievances are, what's affecting you in this our little world called St. Lucia. Well, I'll start the ball rolling, and I'll talk to you about a few things that are just have been bugging me, and then we'll take it from there. So yesterday I took a bunch of kids from Labrie, about 15 of them, out for, they've been wonderful kids, and they celebrated 2 years this month of singing together in church. And I thought, what a wonderful way it would be to mark their anniversary by taking them out. So I took them out to an entertainment spot. And boy, I tell you, the more things change, the more we clamor for change, the more things remain the same, or actually, the more they regress. You wouldn't believe the type of customer service that we have in St. Lucia. I'm not going to be specific, and I'm not going to name names, but it's horrendous, the type of customer service that we have in St. Lucia. When you go to a place where its primary business is customer service, and you get crap service, and you get threatened bodily harm, it's disgusting. It's horrendous. But what is even more egregious is when the person who's supposed to be issuing this customer service, rendering service to you, threatens bodily harm to a child. And I want us adults to understand that children learn by example. Whatever it is that you put out there, within earshot, within sight of children, it's most likely what they're going to give forth. They're like sponges, these little people. They suck up everything we mete out to them, good, bad, and indifferent. And their attitude, when they become young adults and fully grown adults, oftentimes we can trace it back to the attitude meted to them when they were younger, the way we treated them, the way we interacted with them. And I just want to put out a message to adults. And I hear it constantly, and I'm always taking issue with it. And I want us to stop it. I want us to stop it. We treat children like they're the vilest things. We treat them as if they're a nuisance. And yet, when it suits our purpose, we want to say that they're our future, and we want to heap on them all of the negative things, but it starts with us. When you tell a child, because she or he is being a child, I'm going to slap you, what do you think you've just done? So that anytime that child goes to school and one of their peers irritates them, they can become violent, towards that pair? Is that what we're teaching them? And we have to understand all of the children in the world aren't ours biologically, but they're ours community wise, society wise. Whatever we inculcate in our children is going to be watered down at some point, at some level, when our children, our biological children, interact with other children. And so it's disheartening when just because a child does not belong to us biologically, that because that child irritates us, I'm going to slap you. I'm going to slap you. What in effect we're doing is teaching those children that anything which irritates us, anything which annoys us, should be solved by violence. So it's no wonder our children are so violent. Our children have no mediation skills. Our children do not know how to deal with anxiety, and they do not know how to deal with angst. They don't know how to socialize with other children because the adults in their lives, the adults that they come across on a daily basis, exhibit the vilest, the most disgusting behavior towards them. So why should I respect you? Why should any child respect any adult when adults do not respect them in return? Makes no sense. Food for thought, huh? But I really enjoyed my time with these children yesterday. It was amazing. When you're in a social setting, when you're in church and you're singing, and when you're at practice and you're down to business, it's one thing. But when you're out in a social setting and they all let their hair loose and you give them license to be free and to just be themselves, their natural selves, it's amazing. It's amazing the things that these kids come up with. I remember on the way going to our destination, these children were playing the Dennery segment music, and anybody who knows me knows I'm not necessarily a fan of the Dennery music, the Dennery segment music. And they were playing this thing, and I thought, don't say a word, just listen. And you wouldn't believe, even the youngest ones, as young as 6 and 7, were singing these songs. And what was amazing is that they didn't understand, they had no appreciation for the deeper meaning beneath those songs. What they indicated was that they liked the beat, the drums, the solo kind of a feel that you get to this, the natural heritage sound of the music. It's what they really enjoy. They really enjoyed those drums and whatnot. Now, all the kids, what amazed me with them is that they know that I'm not a fan of the Dennery segment music. But because we're a church group and because we're a gospel singing group, what they did, which amazed me even more, was to change the words of the various songs, and to put praise and worship in it. And I thought that was amazing. I thought, what better way to reach other kids like themselves, but to use the popular secular music that they like and use the words praising and glorifying and positive messaging instead of the sully lyrics. So I thought that was really, really amazing. So yeah, so they were singing, they were, remixing, or should I say refixing the Bad in Bum Bum and all of that kind of thing. And before we go into the Bad in Bum Bum, and I want to touch on a little bit about that. It's unfortunate that the destination, the place that I took them, that the staff there were not really appreciative of the jobs that they have, because I wanted us to remember always that we have a very high rate of unemployment. And although it may have gone down by 2% or so, the rate of unemployment in St. Lucia is still exorbitant. It's still woefully high. And we have to bear that in mind. I'm not saying that people can just come out and be ignorant and be ridiculously stupid and dotish just because they think that you need a job. But because you need that job, you have to exercise temperance and tolerance exercise temperance and tolerance. Because right now, I'm telling you, the staff of RG Quarry, they wish they had the certainty of your job. Because right now, they're very uncertain in their jobs. And I think, just touching on that a little bit, I think it's so unfair. And I have asked for several times on this show, using this platform, for the results of the investigation into the blast. I think it was in May of this year, that claimed 4 lives. We understand the investigation has been completed. We understand that the police have the report, but we have heard nothing. And because they're not acting on it, because they're not doing what is necessary, and I think that's something we're so lackadaisical in this country. We're so slothful, if that's a word. We move like calmason, we move like snails and slugs, and we like sloths, If you've got a report and that report is going to determine the fate of a company, of staff, of employees, should it not be incumbent upon you to work on this as fast as you can so that people can mitigate against any negative effects that there may be? I think it's unfair. I think it's inhumane, really, if you ask me. We talk about government shutting down this place and shutting down that place, taking subvention from here and taking subvention from there, and ruining people's lives and playing God with people's lives and whatnot. But to me, I'm seeing it's the same thing happening with the RG people. And I no, don't get me wrong. If RG Quarry was negligent, and this whole blast, which claimed 4 people, 4 lives, and didn't just claim 4 lives, affected 4 families directly and indirectly, how many other lives? They've got to be held accountable. They've got to be held responsible and feel the weight of the law, which honestly, I'm thinking may not be very tight as we think, or as tight as it should be. But please, if not for the quarry, but for the employees, help them get peace of mind. Help them to see what their immediate future will bring. So, back to the bad in Bum Bum, right? So, Carnival has just ended, and one thing I've realized is we really are a nation that sullifies everything. We are so mediocre. We don't want to expand our horizons and to even tap into whatever little creativity we may have been blessed with. Everything in this country, and it is proving to be, I don't know if I want to say unhealthy, relationship with the derriere. And when I think about the Dennery segment music and a lot of the lyrics that come out of that music, I am ready to be my most prudish self and blow at my top and really just articulate in the most vociferous manner that I know how disgusted I am with the music. But then I think about the solo, and I think about all those old music that they dance, not kudme, but kutumba and all of that. When you think about the lyrics, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. It's just that it's done now I think it's done in a more vile manner, because it's so, the accent on some of the words and it's just very raw. It seems very raw. But this thing has been around for a while. And then I thought, here they are denigrating women. Here they are, asking women to do all of this, instructing women to do all of these things, and they're doing it. And I thought to myself, but wait a minute. It's the other way around. Women have been doing this to themselves a long time, and that these guys now have just put to music what we have been doing to ourselves. We've been splitting in the middle and trembling it and you know, doing gymnastics and metaphysics with our bum bums for years, decades. You know, it's not the batting bum bum or split in the middle or praise God for the flat bum bum and all of these songs that have caused us to do these things. We've been doing it. These guys have just been putting words to them or putting music to what we've been doing to ourselves. So in a way, we've been there's an injustice to these guys, this Kuduro music, and or rather this Denry segment music. We really have been being unfair to them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Carnival is all over. And then I have asked myself, what exactly did we just witness last Monday and Tuesday? The culmination of this fantastic festival that we call Carnival, this glorious festival that we look forward to every year, that we can't get enough of, that goes on and on and on and on past July, and in some cases to August. What is it about Carnival that we love so much? What is the meaning behind Carnival? And we use all of these glorious words to describe the festivities, the revelry, you know, and we use all of those descriptive words, and we have all of those fantastic themes. But when those bands come across the stage, we don't see the theme being portrayed. And I ask myself, what is it that the judges are judging? Because you have all of these descriptive words put together, orgasmic really. If you're not seeing, you're building this picture in your head. If you were to close your eyes or blindfold yourself and listen to the description of the sections as they're crossing the stage, you're building this expectation in your head. You're seeing all of this color and all of those, this revelry and all of this. Everything is just beautiful in your head. And then you open your eyes and you see the sloopshousness that's going on. And you ask yourself, what? Are they blind? That should be illegal, really, I think. Because you can't have all of those themes, these grandiose themes, you know, and then you can't carry through with it. I remember when I was a child, I was determined that when I turned 18, I was going to jump Carnival, because you just see all the beautiful plumes and the feathers and the this and the that, and you're thinking, oh my gosh. And then you see the parade of the bands, and you see the little formation, the little choreographed moves, and they do this little thing. Sometimes they have just a few people on the stage, and then after the description and they portray their theme, all the masses come on, and it's beautiful. You know, the color, the splendor, it's great. But we seem every year to be degrading ourselves and degenerating instead of building. And then there's a section called Mass on the Move. And I ask myself, what in the heck is Mass on the Move? Because the mass ain't moving. The mass ain't moving. All I see is the swelling of the bum bum, you know, and again, you know, this is all I see, the swelling of the bum bum. Everything is the bum bum, you know, and there's so many different words, the ways they describe it, and none of the next one is worse than the first. And then the next and the next. So I ask myself, what is Carnival supposed to mean? At least our Carnival. And I went online and I got this description: a rich display of St. Lucian culture. St. Lucian culture ain't my culture, because I don't parade my bum bum like that. Yeah, maybe my bum bum jiggles a little bit, but not deliberately. And if I could stop it from jiggling, I would certainly stop it from jiggling. Right? So it's supposed to be a rich display of St. Lucian culture. St. Lucian Carnival is supposed to pay homage to the island's African and Catholic heritage. That's what it says on the website. A rich display of St. Lucian culture, paying homage to the island's African and Catholic heritage. I see nothing Catholic about what was going on, and I see nothing African about what was going on. Because when I look at African festivals, and when I look at how Africans do their cultural dances, or how they portray the heritage, nothing like that. Nothing like what we do here. It is pure sulliness. And that's another thing. Do we even know what sully means? Because let me tell you, Road March, Sully, the song Sully, my sister loves the song, but hey, no offense to Ricky T and all of you who love Sully, but you have to understand. You have to understand what it is that you love, and you have to understand and have it in context and say, okay, I love the beat, I love this, I love that, but I'm not in total agreement with whatever. Put it in context, right? Because we have our children growing up and they're listening to that kind of music and they're dancing to it and they have no idea what they're doing because we're not teaching them, right? So I've always said this is a platform where your story become our stories. Well, this is it, because I heard a lot of people complain about Kiddies Carnival and the way the children were gyrating and behaving. And I got a video, my God. I'm praying to God that it is not our St. Lucian children behaving in that manner. And the only reason I don't think it's St. Lucian children is because, and I know it's going to be sounding very stupid, is because of the kind of music that was playing in the background. It was a lot of dancehall reggae music. And so I'm just hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that it wasn't St. Lucian children, because, oh my gosh, ridiculous, ridiculous. Even little babies who look like 3 years old were gyrating and grinding and digging, and whatever else they used to describe where the woman's posterior is glued onto the guy's, private parts. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. Pure Sulliness. So back to Sully. Sully won Road March with 46 times the song Sully played on the road. 46 times. The closest song to Sully was Bend Your Back, Bend Up Your Back, or Bend Up Your Back, whatever, with 11 times. So you see the disparate number of times. Sully played 46 times. The next closest one was 11 times. Bend Up Your Back Like a Shrimp or whatever. Bad in Bum Bum played 10 times. And Knock It Already played 8 times. But what does Sully really mean? Sully is not a girl's name. Sully means to damage the purity or integrity of a person, a thing, to defile it, to taint it, to soil it, to tarnish it, to stain it, to blemish it, to pollute it, to spoil it, to mar it, and the synonyms go on and on and on. I could spend the rest of the 90 minutes that I have with you just spewing words to describe or to explain Sully, to damage the purity or integrity of something or someone, to defile, to taint, to soil, to tarnish, to stain, to blemish, to pollute, to mar. And that's what we're dancing to. Sully, 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 Sully. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Where are we going? Where are we going? So now that we have sullied a tradition, because I told you what Carnival is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a display, rich display of our heritage, our African and Catholic heritage. So now that we've sullied a tradition, we split in the middle, we showed how bad we are in Bum Bum, we bent up our backs, we knocked it and sucked it. Here comes this video of an 18-year-old, I'm told, who was kidnapped. And I'm giving you the information that I have that has been put out in the public domain, and we don't know the true veracity of the stories that we're getting, because we aren't hearing from the family who can give us more information. We aren't hearing directly from the police. I don't know if that they're investigating. So we really don't know. Whatever we're getting is tidbits here and there from anonymous sources. So here comes this video of this 18-year-old who has been allegedly kidnapped from Trinidad and Tobago, from what we're told. Not yesterday, not last week, not last month, but 5 months ago in February, or 6 months ago in February, and is now being held hostage, according to reports, in Venezuela. He is being tortured, and to this day, we don't know, because I think there are about 3 videos circulating, and each one is worse than the next. And so we don't know what the culmination of all of this torture is. We do not know how it has progressed, for want of a better word. We don't know how much it has accelerated. Now, in the US, when you take someone from one state to another state, you have the FBI who comes in to investigate interstate, because you're crossing states, you're crossing borders, to investigate. In the Great Britain, I think there's Scotland Yard. In Canada, used to be the RCMP, but RCMP now has been so watered down, it only deals with stuff like immigration and whatnot. But there is still the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, which can render assistance in those cases. Although in Canada, it's a little bit different, because a crime in one province is the same crime in all of the provinces, unlike the states, where you could have something which is really heinous in one state, but not as heinous in another state, which is why you need the FBI to come in and investigate. But in Canada, it's you kill somebody in Ontario, it's the same as in Quebec, it's the same as in New Brunswick, it's the same everywhere. What do we have in the OACS or in CARICOM, where you have a St. Lucian national visiting Trinidad, and I'm using this example, Trinidad, been kidnapped in Trinidad and brought to yet another territory? How do we investigate whether the reports that we're getting is true? How do we investigate to get this person, to extricate this person from the arms or the hands of their kidnappers, the abductors? So I did a little investigation, and I thought, but wait a minute. Impax was investigating our police officers for extrajudicial killings. Is that all they do? So I did a little investigation, and I may be very, very wrong. So if there is anybody who has any other information or has a different understanding from what I understand, please, by all means, when the lines are open, call in and let us know and share that. So I looked at the Impax, and I looked at Impax, Implementing Agency for Crime and Security. That's what Impax means. And I looked at all of the different departments and commissions that fall within Impax. And there's something called the Regional Intelligence Fusion Center. And it provides intelligence support to key stakeholders in an effort to detect, deter, and control crime within the region. So I'm thinking, hey, that should fall smack dab under their purview, because we have a St. Lucian citizen who has been kidnapped allegedly from Trinidad and transported to another territory, Venezuela. The center is supposed to work closely with other agencies in providing intelligence information to regional security agency personnel and other stakeholders, while providing strategic analysis of threats entities in the Caribbean region. And I'm thinking, can this be a department that could be galvanized into action to get to the bottom of this young man's demise, or his non-demise in whatever the case may be, because we don't know what has happened since the last video. There is the Regional Crime and Security Strategy Central Coordinating Unit, and this unit provides critical technical support, advisory services, and assistance to member states in facilitating the fulfillment of CARICOM Impact. Now, here's the thing. Advisory services, those are the buzzwords that come into my mind. Advisory services, assistance. What does that mean? Again, is it just another talk shop? And if it is, where is the action arm of this talk piece? You know, because in the Caribbean, in the Oasis and the CARICOM, we are so adept, we're so good at having all of these talk shops and having all of those departments where we can provide advice to governments. But where is the action arm? We're not an action people. We like to think that we're so intellectual, so we can give all the advice and put all the strategies on paper. But where are the tactics? What are we doing to realize those strategies, to fulfill those strategies? And I'm thinking, hey, this would be the perfect arm, the perfect body to deal with this, not unique to the rest of the world, but I don't remember us ever having a citizen being kidnapped in another country and taken to another territory. So if we've experienced that before, maybe I'm too young to remember, but when the lines are open, you can talk to us about it. So the RCSS unit, before that, there is also a committee coordinator within this unit, the RCSSC unit, which is the Regional Crime and Security Strategy Unit, which allows for a direct link with member states, law enforcement, military, customs, immigration, and other regional security services. The RCSS unit is the main point of contact between impacts, member states, and international agencies such as Interpol, UN agencies, OAS, and Southcom. But the burning questions that I have where this issue is concerned, in the first video that I saw, this young man was calling for his mommy. Boy, let me tell you something. By the time they turn 13, they don't want to say mommy anymore. It's mom, ma, woman, whatever. A lot of the times. Boys don't really grow up to be 18, 19 calling their mother's mommy. It's highly unusual. So that was what was the first thing that caught my attention, was the mommy, please, mommy. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And I'm not disparaging. I thought it was wonderful if the circumstances were different. I would have had a totally different reaction if the circumstances were different. So my question, burning questions for me, where is mommy? Because this boy was calling for his mother like there was no tomorrow. You could have sworn that he had regressed to 2 years old. Right? Mommy, I need you, mommy, help. Tell Sean, tell Sean, pay the people. Who is Sean? Where is Sean? Why did the family not ask for help before now, before the videos came to light? Because apparently, allegedly, this young man had been abducted from Trinidad since February. We're now in July. Why are we only hearing about this now? Is there a possible security breach in our country? Now, a lot of you must be laughing, but I've got to pose the question. Because I remember it was a few years ago, there were a couple of Venezuelan prisoners who escaped from Bodily. I never heard of them again. It was a fantastic breakout. Prison Break, the series Prison Break, had nothing on that Prison Break at Bodily. Never heard from them again. Just disappeared. Poof. So is there a possible security breach? Because if, what's his name? I forget the young boy's name, the young man's name. If Sean does not care about his cousin, brother, whatever he is, whatever the relation is, the familial relation is, and this boy is killed or this young man is killed, will they come to get what their business is in St. Lucia? Whatever it is that Sean was supposed to pay, if this young man cannot pay it, will they come to St. Lucia to get it? So is there a security breach? We're not hearing from the police. We're not hearing from law enforcement. We're not hearing from internal affairs anything concrete with that regard. I'm very concerned because when these things break out, usually it's the bystander, the innocent person who gets the pluck. So I really would like to know what are we doing in terms of security in this country with regard to possible reprisals if Sean doesn't pay? Is there a Venezuelan St. Lucian drug trade thriving here in St. Lucia? I know I heard the ambassador say that Venezuela does not produce drugs, but there obviously is a connection between St. Lucia and Venezuela where drugs are concerned. And I guess the proximity to Colombia and whatever, I mean, we're in the middle of the transatlantic trade. So what is going on? Do we have any intelligence? You know, there are lots of people who get licks all over the place. I wonder if they're getting the licks, those licks as well, and they're just choosing, picking and choosing like a supermarket, what licks that they should expose. But I think the way we're going, we're so licky in this country, somebody has got to know something and to pass on that intelligence to the police if the police is unaware. Again, I ask the question, where is Sean? Who is Sean? Have they found out who he is, where he is, and have they questioned him, the police that is? Are we taking this infraction seriously? You know, I'm talking about the forces, security forces. Are we taking it seriously, or are we saying, you know what, and nobody sent him and Sean to do whatever they did and get caught up in this thing? So, you know, true max for the balance, we don't care. This is still one of our own. This is somebody's child. And although we don't know who mommy is and mommy hasn't come forward yet and sister haven't come forward yet, although there has been some sort of Facebook response out there, which I think is very foolhardy, if you ask me, considering all of this. If what I think, what I perceive to be happening is happening out there, I would not want to call attention to myself. But there are agencies that you can go to and under cover of anonymity and speak to and try to get your loved one back. So have the police found out who Sean is, where he is, and have they started questioning him and interrogating him, and is he assisting the police to get his cousin or his brother back? What are the implications for the greater St. Lucian community if the Venezuelans are not satisfied with the speed with which Sean and his family or his cronies are moving? Will they come to get Sean in St. Lucia? Are we all at risk? What is the official position of our country in this matter? I really would love to hear from Senator Francis and the acting commissioner of police. Definitively, I think a press conference needs to be called and to discuss the matter and to inform us of what's going on. I think this is very serious. If it were in any other country, and we love to say we were a developing state, but if this happened in any other developing state, this matter would be investigated. This could be my brother, your brother, anybody. We don't know what situation that anybody could find themselves in. I never thought that I would have had a relative, close family member of mine murdered and to have the case unresolved. But that was me 2 years ago, unresolved. And we're doing whatever is in our power to assist police to ensure that there is some result, closure to this case. But up to a day like today, nobody knows who killed Marcus. Nobody knows. And if there is anybody who knows, they're not talking. They're not talking. And everything moves so slowly in this country. I would hate to think that yet another mother is going to be crying tears of blood because her son has been murdered and butchered, and it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look good for this young man. So are we taking this seriously? I think there should be a press conference with the Minister for Internal Affairs and the Acting Commissioner of Police to allay our fears, to inform us as to what's going on, how they're handling the situation. Are they even handling the situation? We don't know. So I would really like to know. And those are my burning issues. You may have yours a little later on. So the 25th of every month has been designated Orange Day, which is why I'm wearing orange today, by the United Nations Secretary General's campaign, Unite to End Violence Against Women. And that is to raise awareness and to take action to end violence against women and girls. And the reason why they chose orange is because it's a bright, optimistic color. Orange represents a future free from violence against girls and women. And Orange Day actually it's supposed to call upon civil society, governments, and UN partners to mobilize people and highlight issues relevant to preventing and ending violence against women and girls. Not only once a year, which in October 25th is actually the day that honors or commemorates end the violence against women and girls. Actually, it's the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, the 25th of November. But every month, so every month, I implore you to wear orange on the 25th of whatever month that we're in, to highlight and to speak out, even if we're not using our voice, but to stand up in solidarity against violence against women and girls. I mean, girls and boys, including adolescents, are increasingly spending more time on the internet using technology to navigate this world. And even boys too. There's violence against boys, but it would seem that there's an inordinate number of occurrences against women and girls. And because of the prevalence of technology, the access to information and communication, the theme for this year is, oh, I just had a senior moment. I think it's something about using technology to combat violence against women and girls, because they're so exposed. Children have been so exposed to violence and exploitation through ICTs, and that has changed the scale and the form and the magnitude of violence against women and girls. So that makes them more vulnerable to the different risks and harms related to misuse of ICT. You know, a lot of times we just put our children in front of the computers. We say, oh, we provide them with laptops. And that's the other thing I've always advocated against. I think we have to get our children to use technology wisely, but we do it so awkwardly. It's like television. When television became go, me see everybody had television, we just take our children and plop them in front of a television screen, and the television raises our children. It's the same thing with the internet right now. We want to just provide them with the internet, not supervised. Just give them the laptops, give them the internet, and tell them go at it. Whatever, even in schools, instead of teaching hands-on, we just tell them Google, go on the internet and Google it. So they're teaching themselves, and because of that, they're exposed to so many different things. Girls in particular are so vulnerable to being groomed online for sexual encounters and sometimes exploited through live streaming of their own sexual abuse. So, you know, it's no longer I have to video you and then I have to bring it out there and distribute it. It can happen. The distribution of this pornographic material can happen live as it's happening. And as a result of that, many children are experiencing widespread victimization through online bullying, even harassment and intimidation, where girls are particularly targeted due to gender norms and power dynamics. So these are all some of the things that we have to be aware of. And I thought, because today is the 25th, I would like to touch on those issues a little bit for us. So those are some of the issues that I call them the residual issues that I had over the weeks between the last open mic and this one. So we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll open the lines where you can now discuss any of the topics that I've touched on earlier, or your own issues, your own residual issues that you want to bring to the fore. See you on the other side of the break. I'm almost not ready to come back from break because the messages have started coming in, and I appreciate it so much that you're sending me the messages and you're articulating. So the lines will be open in a little bit, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Did you know that as of 2013, we're in 2017, so we're about 5 years behind, 81% of child sexual abuse materials depicted girls. So I know some of the men at home are going to say, here she goes again, talking about girls and women as if men don't get abused sexually as well. And boys, they do. But a disproportionate number of girls, 81%, the statistics show us, of child sexual abuse materials depict girls. And that's alarming. And it should be alarming to you too. And it should not be to show a dichotomy and say, oh, but boys get too, and so we have to focus on boys. But we have to pay attention to, or give attention to the same proportionate percentage of attention to the matter. So if 81% of girls, 81% of pornographic material depicts girls, not women, girls, then 81% of our attention needs to be focused on that while keeping in mind the global picture. And the campaign that I wanted to remind you of for this today was to unite, for the Unite campaign for this month was cyber violence against women and girls. It's focused on cyber violence against women and girls. And I particularly was touched by this in light of the vast number of videos that touch our phones every day depicting girls and women in sexual encounters, and that we think that it's okay to just video these women and then distribute it, showing that the women's faces and everything, and we hide the men, and distribute it. So I thought that was really apt, based on what's happening right now, to the cyber violence against women and girls. So I really thought that was appropriate. So the lines are open now, and the number should be on your screen any moment from now, and you can send us your WhatsApp messages at 284-6536, or you can send us your email at laurajapierre@gmail.com. Okay, so the lines are open, and some of you have already started sending me the messages. Somebody said, let kids be kids, don't let them grow up too quickly, let them be themselves, create with their minds and hands and not the electronics. And somebody's telling me that you and me both, they don't like the Denry segment either. And not every type of music is going to touch everybody. Some people don't like Western, others love it, So in terms of the customer service and how slow we move in this country, somebody's saying, yeah, we do move like snails in certain departments, in particular insurance. So, it's really something. And somebody else is saying that carnival means nothing to them as well because it has been so diluted. So diluted. Yes, so we lost the call. Okay, so keep calling. Keep on calling, and we'll take your calls as fast as we can. So persons are really sending us the messages. I'm trying to screen them as fast as I can. As fast as I can. And some of them I have to really take a look at them before I read those messages out to you. Yeah, but yeah, send us your messages 284-6536, call us 451-9788, or send us your emails at laurajapierre@gmail.com, and you're free to speak about any of the issues that I've spoken about earlier, or your own issues, whatever residual issues that you had over the weeks between our last open mic and this mic. What do you think about the song Sully? I mean, I gave a slew of synonyms for the word Sully, and I was very shocked when the song Sully came out. But not just shocked that the title of the song, but how popular it became in such a short period of time. We have our very first call online. Thank you. We keep losing our calls. Yeah, and the short space of time within which Sully had become a household name. And I was looking at I was watching on television the soca, the power soca and groovy soca monarchs, and every artist that came on to perform, it's almost as if I wasn't watching a competition in the groovy monarch. Everybody was talking about Sully, and focused on how fast Sully was to be competing in the groovy segment. And I'm thinking, but Sully didn't just get there on its own. The song met a certain criteria that the judges were looking for, and so it got there. Nobody focused on the judges slipped Sully in there. Everybody was focused on Sully and how they wanted to take Sully home and what they were going to do to Sully. And I'm thinking, do you not know that To sully is to defile. To sully is to mart, to dilute. It's to pollute. It's the tint. It's the blemish. It's the stain. Why would you want to take something like that home? Why would you want to associate with something like that? It just boggles my mind what some people, what we're thinking. What we're thinking. What do you think about the kidnapped young man? What are your views on that? Is there anybody who knows anything else? And I don't really want specifics or anything like that, but I just want to know your views on how we should be handling this. What is our police force doing? What is our internal affairs department doing with regard to that? What if it were your son involved in the whole situation? I mean, I fully expect to hear people say he's innocent. It was a mistaken identity. He's not involved in anything untoward. What are we going to say? You know. But it's really, really disheartening what's going on with this young man, and we're hearing nothing. And that's the scary part. We're hearing nothing. And just this evening, I heard the minister responsible talking about an influx of Venezuelans into St. Lucia, and I'm very scared. And you see how you can paint a distasteful picture against a whole group of people based on what a few people are doing. We don't know what they're coming into St. Lucia for. We don't know if it's legit or if it's whatever it is. But right now, just the mere fact that we know that one of our own is being held and tortured by supposedly Venezuelan citizens. We have a call.
Hello.
Hello.
Good night.
Good night, sir. You're on the air.
My advice to the law is whoever the young guy mentioned names, you should try to find out what's going on.
Absolutely.
You understand? He's a young man and people should put themselves in his shoes. And then they will be able to understand what is going on.
Absolutely.
You don't think about where is your son that is there, or your nephew, or your godchild.
Absolutely.
And then you will understand what is going on there.
Absolutely.
Whatever name that is mentioned, the police should get this person. All right?
Absolutely. I quite agree. Thank you so much
Laura,
for calling and sharing. And it's absolutely true. We have a name, and then there is somebody else who has put out information on the internet. Find us. We're 286 square miles. We're 170,000 people. How difficult would it be to find somebody? I remember when I first came out in the media doing my thing, people wanted to know who I was, and it didn't take them very long to figure out who I was. I wasn't hiding. I had nothing to hide. I wasn't doing anything illegal or anything untoward or anything like that, so it was easy to find me. But seriously, how difficult is it to find someone? We have another call online. Thank you for calling.
Hello, good night, Laura.
Good night.
Did you watch Choice TV tonight?
No.
Because actually there was another video where a guy said he was asking his mom to take the videos down because if the police captures the guy that he's talking about, they would kill him because the guy wouldn't have them pay the money or whatever. That was in tonight's news.
Oh well, I wouldn't be able to watch Choice because I'm here.
Okay,
in studio.
That's what went
on
tonight.
So that's the latest video.
Yes, it is.
So the young man who's been tortured
to take down the video.
So did they give any indication as to who's transmitting those videos?
No, they didn't. That's what's puzzling.
But that's what I'm saying, because you could tell your mom to take down the videos, but maybe it's not your mom transmitting those videos. Who is transmitting those videos? You understand what I'm saying? Who is sending those videos? Because I highly doubt that this young man is sending those videos. Somebody is sending the videos to somebody who's transmitting, and obviously that somebody who's receiving those videos and transmitting those videos has intimate knowledge of what's going on.
Because tonight it was actually a picture of him and just an audio.
It was no video, just an audio.
Right, not really.
So how do we know that it's the guy?
Well, it sounds like the same.
It sounds, and we don't really have any voice recognition technology down here to corroborate and say, yeah, this is the guy. We can just assume. Because a lot of times when people call my mom and I answer the phone, they speak to me like it's her. So you understand where I'm coming from. People sound like each other. So it's very probable, that it's not him at all. How do we know? We don't have a video to correspond with the audio. But I hope for his sake that he's okay and that he's not.
Yeah, he said he's okay for now, but they need to take down the videos because if Sean doesn't pay up, then they're gonna kill him.
Then they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
But how taking down the video is going to save his life?
Because if the police capture Sean, then Sean cannot pay.
I understand. So if they capture Sean, Sean will not be able to. But one of the the Facebook messages that says Sean doesn't really care, and that he ain't gonna pay to save this guy because this guy is not his direct blood.
Okay.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? So he could ask for the video to be taken down because if they capture Sean, but if Sean ain't gonna pay anyway, it's almost as if his fate is doomed. Yeah.
Anyway,
but thank you so much for calling and sharing.
You're welcome.
That's really sad, people. It's really sad. And not just sad, it's scary. It really is scary to know that we have a citizen who is being tortured out of his mind. We have another call online.
Hello.
Yes, can you lower the volume of your television, please?
Okay.
And let me just say
one minute.
Uh-huh. While we're waiting for this caller to come back, the person who's calling me on 284-6536, I cannot answer the phone, so you need to call me online. Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The word Sully is close to Sodom.
Mm-hmm.
So that carnival business is a sodomic ritual these people performing on the street of Castries.
Well, it's...
So they have their linkage, and they know the business, what they're going at. So it's nothing new for them. It's just that they're exposing themselves now to the public, what they are practicing inside.
Well, it's really sad.
That is what it is, reality
it's
now.
Really sad. I think Carnival could be such a lovely thing. I think it could be such an expression of culture and heritage. Not necessarily culture so much, but heritage. And we're just defeating the purpose of the whole Carnival spirit.
But listen. But now, human beings are so advanced now. They know so much, and yet they pretend they are stupid. That is not true. They're not stupid. They are aware of everything that they do. All of them are qualified. They have knowledge. They have English. They have syntax. They have all kind of grammar in them.
Oh, yeah.
They know what they are doing.
Oh, yeah.
They are so reckless and fearless, so they putting themselves in public for the public to know what you're hiding.
And the saddest thing, the saddest thing?
I can't say too long because I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So they just putting it outside in the public. Hello, what you're hiding, we know it. Look it in your face. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And I was always trying to say to the caller is that the saddest thing is that they're influencing the minds of the children. Because I've heard a number of people complain how Kiddies Carnival was pure debauchery. It's just younger human beings doing the vilest things that the adults are doing. So it's really, really sad. And I really wish that there should be somebody's on, right, thank you. I really think that there should be some way of curtailing or policing what is supposed to be Kiddies Carnival, something that's supposed to be pure, and just fun and relaxation for children. And I mean, the kinds of songs that are being played, we don't filter the songs that, even if it's Carnival, we don't filter those songs to the children, and eventually that sips into their minds. They grow up, and that's the attitude. That's all they're experiencing. That's what they're exposed to, and it manifests itself. It manifests itself. So I really wish we would get our act together where Carnival is concerned. We're sinking more and more money into Carnival. And speaking of money, can you believe the Blind Welfare Association is in such financial straits that the only option may be to shut their doors? So while we're sinking $3 million into Carnival, maybe we should take $500,000 out of that and sink it into the Blind Welfare Association because they're providing a service to us. Thank you for calling. We have another call online.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, Miss Law.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, I must say a special good night to our clinicians. With that young man that has been kidnapped there right now, That's a very serious. This is that right now should be a St. Lucia affair, not a mother to the dealers anymore.
I quite agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, this is a St. Lucia
Quite agree.
business right now. This is St. Lucia business. This is very serious.
And it should be even beyond the St. Lucia business.
Yes.
It should be a Caribbean business because
It
this
is a
man was
Caribbean business.
allegedly kidnapped from
Yes.
Trinidad
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of St. Lucia and taken to a totally different territory completely.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that
And it
should be
should-
all of our business in the Caribbean. We'd like to talk about Caribbean unity. Here is a perfect example, a perfect opportunity to put it into action.
Yes. And it could be any one of us.
Absolutely.
And right now, the government of the government of the Caribbean should get together and to defend or to fight against that kind of behavior, because while it is quite wrong that our young people are taking direction of getting involved in illegal drugs and so on, we do not have the evidence what that young boy, or what led him to that direction, or if he is into any action or any drug
Absolutely.
relation with these people.
Absolutely.
Maybe this young boy could have just naive among the group, and they could just use him as bait,
Absolutely.
because some of these
Wrong
young fellas
place,
are
wrong time.
They are vulnerable, and they want to be part of it. They want to be in action. They want to have the bike. They want to have this, and some of them don't have people to actually let them know, my brother, outside there, when you get involved in these things, these fellas have no mercy, especially these Spanish people, those Colombians, those barons. These fellas have no mercy for nobody, and this is exactly, what could happen to anybody in this country. They could just hold anybody in this country maybe tomorrow and hold them as bait, So the government of St. Lucia need to stand up, even though the government have to pay that bill to try to get that young man back to St. Lucia. Because $300,000 a life worth more than it. Whatever money that they're asking for, that life worth more than that money. Even though we have to hold him, ransom to work for that money back in this country. But I think St. Lucia need to step up more. And I listen to the voice of that young man. Trust me, it could be any one of our sons. And it really touched me. I saw another video sometime, it was Sunday evening, where they showed that his hand was chopped off and they had him in the street. But this is, I even said to myself, maybe this is just played, that the guys are just trying to hold that against St. Lucia, where they could demand certain things. Now, if this is the case, we need to step up.
But we have diplomatic relations with the country in question. So if it is something like that, I mean, that's when we have a minister for external affairs.
Yes.
You understand? So why aren't we hearing from the Minister of External Affairs? What is happening? I don't know the protocol for these things, but at some point, some press conference needs to be held, needs to be convened, so that the citizens of this country can understand what the heck is going on. Because nothing is stopping these guys from just coming and randomly just selecting people and offing them because they want their money or their drugs or whatever it is, their guns, whatever it is that Sean has, and he's not giving them, and from what the people are saying, Sean really doesn't care.
Sean doesn't give a heck. He doesn't give a heck. So right now, it is about the life of this individual that we're not sure how he stays at this present moment, and what we as a nation could do to get that young boy back into St. Lucia.
Absolutely.
Whatever means possible to save that life.
My fear is this young man is not going to make it back. Some of my viewers are keeping their fingers, their toes, their hair, everything crossed that this is a hoax and that it's not for real, because it's a scary prospect.
Yeah, and honestly, I still have hope. I still have hope, because these guys need, what they're after is the finance. Now, what we need to do, what St. Lucia need to do, is to get to the ambassador next side. get to somebody, get what
But
do
we
you
have an
need?
ambassador. We have a Venezuelan embassy right here in St. Lucia.
We want to know if that young man is alive. And
Yes, absolutely.
What is the demand?
What is the point of having these embassies if we can't engage them? I mean, I remember not too long ago, there was this French prisoner that the French made a representation for and got him out and sent back to the French territories.
That's right.
This is what we need to be doing for our own citizens.
Yes, we need to stand up.
Yes,
We need to stand
other
up
people, other nationalities can come in our country and make demands, but we can't make any demands in return.
To the country to face the consequences.
Absolutely.
We need to stand up and get the ambassador to do something. You know, even though we have to rally around the ambassador office down here.
Absolutely.
And demand answers.
And it's interesting that you should say rally around, you know. I was just listening to the news and 20,000 Bajans down their pens and their working implements and rallied against some of the decisions of government. That's not a small feat, you know. And nowhere in the news report did it make mention of a political move by the opposition. It was Bajans, sick and tired, Bajans standing up for themselves, business owners, employers giving their employees time off. To march. So we need to be taking a page from the Bajans.
Because the Bajans are always standing for the country.
Absolutely.
They're always standing for Bajans.
And that tells you the progression of a people.
Yes. And from the time I know myself, you know, I always admire the way the Bajans, you know, represent the country. Mm-hmm. The country is not what the country can do for them. It's but what they can do for the country.
That's right.
And if St. Lucian have that motive, we in St. Lucia would be a lot further today.
I totally agree.
It's all about what we can get out of St. Lucia.
Absolutely.
What we can get out of the government. It is not what we can do to assist the government to do for St. Lucia. It is what we can get out of the government by assisting them, by campaigning with them and getting contracts, getting feedbacks.
Totally.
This is not the way.
That's the myopia of our people.
Yes. And Laura, honestly, we as St. Lucians, if we don't put a stand today, we do not know what will happen to the other St. Lucians behind.
I agree. I'm scared. I don't know for others, but I'm scared. It could happen to any one of us. It could happen to anybody. You could just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you caught up in this nightmare.
These Spanish guys have boats to outride the boats that we have down here. You know, these Spanish guys, the police, the coast guards we have down here cannot follow those guys. When these guys are on the heavy water, it is lightly in your scene. You know?
And things are not going to get better because we're not getting funding to upgrade ourselves or anything. So
we need to protect our borders. We need to protect our people. The government need to do things to protect our St. Lucian fellow men, because
Absolutely.
things are getting out of hand. And this is really, really, really. Trust me, I am afraid.
Likewise, myself.
What I'm seeing there, I know I'm not into anything.
But it's scary because you could just be an innocent bystander.
Yeah. Just because they say they want to hold you ransom as a St. Lucian.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Hey, we're going to pick up. If they do it if one, they could do it if the others.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for sharing. We want to take a few more calls. But thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate your call.
You're welcome.
And the gentleman is quite right. He's quite right. You know, it's unfortunate. Somebody keeps trying to reach me. And the person really should try to call me after the show or on the studio line. We have another call online. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Good night, Laura. I have a problem with so much money government is putting into carnival.
Mm-hmm.
That money he's putting into carnival, why he didn't use some for the blind welfare? I mean, there is young people are out of a job. Put the STEP program back if there is something he can do with that money. The people are selling tickets. They are making their money. Why it is that government have to be putting so much money into carnival, and what is the government getting back from that?
Okay, but here's the thing, Here's the thing. Now, I am the first person to say, if you're going to cut subvention or you're going to or some other area needs help, like the Blind Welfare Association, take it out of carnival money. Because I absolutely don't see the purpose of carnival anymore. What carnival is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be a showcase, a display of our heritage, of our culture, it surely isn't that. Because all I'm seeing is sloopshousness.
The
I'm not seeing
carnival
anything.
nowadays, Laura, I don't see nothing in it. It is bacchanal because the
Well,
kind of ways the mothers and them are
exactly.
exposing themselves on the street, the dogs that God gave 4 legs do not perform that kind
I
of way
agree
on the street.
but
and
there
it is really
must
ridiculous for
but there
St. Lucian.
must be some sort of economic um, receipt from the carnival, and I'm not talking about from government perspective, but from the vendors. I mean, they're selling drinks, they're selling food, there are things that the economic benefits from having carnival. So I'm not saying this ban with carnival completely 100%. I'm saying revisit, and until carnival can elevate its standard to a point where it is nationally accepted. I mean, year after year we're usurped by the French bands. This year we had Guadeloupe, and oh my God, they were
what
so
the people in
beautiful.
Guadeloupe, how they were well dressed, they were neatly dressed,
Exactly.
the performance was good. And I mean, St. Lucian thinking that because they expose all the body, that is carnival. That is not carnival. That is disrespect. What are we doing for the young generation that's coming up? Then we just say about, oh, our children, our children. We are the one that's starting it now.
We're also
We
talking.
are the parents because whatever we are doing, children learn from the parents.
We're also talking about culture. We're talking about the music, different avenues for children to expose themselves and to have avenues. All good and well. But if those avenues are sullied, for want of a better word, or no, a pun intended, really. If those avenues are sullied, I say, what's the point? Let's have another festival. You know, or
But
use
Laura,
that
Laura,
$3 million in the other festivals that we have coming up.
What's your music they played? Before you used to go to Carnival, when you come out there on the road,
Sorry?
you get a
Hello?
Carnival. They normally play
Okay,
music
so
that
we
you
lost-
can get a sense in the music. But nowadays, the music nowadays don't make any sense. Disrespectful. I don't see nothing
I'm
in
not
the
hearing I'm not hearing the caller. She's going in and out, and
I'm
I've
telling
lost
you,
her completely
the
now.
music
I don't know if you're
nowadays
hearing her
doesn't make any
in
sense.
TV land, but I'm certainly not hearing.
Well, okay,
I've
Laura,
lost all
that's my
sound. So
contribution.
if you cannot hear me, or if you can hear me, I certainly can't hear you. So please try back. Yeah, but as I was telling the caller, I'm all for culture. I'm all for different avenues. I'm all for the festivals that are supposed to create avenues for our people. But if this is what our money is going into, we have a problem. We have a serious problem. So we have to do something about it. We have to really up our game and do something worthwhile, because it's really not making any sense. Now I'm going to go for break in a little while because I've lost all sound completely. But just so you know, what we'll be talking about so far is the carnival, the sloopshousness that's going on in carnival. We're talking about the young man who has been allegedly kidnapped from Trinidad and brought over to Venezuela and being tortured. What are our views on that? And Orange Day, which is today, the 25th of July. We're commemorating or celebrating it just a little bit, but the actual day is in November 25th. So we're going to take a break right now so we can fix our technical problems, and we're going to come back on the other side of that break. Stay tuned. Thank you for coming back. We're all fixed and we're raring to go. So the lines are open once more, and you can send me your WhatsApp messages on 284-6536 or your emails at laurajapierre@gmail.com. The number to call is 451-9788, and we can take your calls, and you can share your views with us on any of the topics that we've discussed earlier, or your own residual issues over the past weeks. Yeah, so we Solid Carnival. We have a call. Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Yes. I think that those great designers for Carnival that have been given all those accolades about how fantastic their designs are responsible for what is happening on the road as well. They give all the descriptions of this section and that section. And when you see what's coming up for this section, what's great about what they have done?
I don't blame the designers. I blame the people who are paying $2,000 for the nonsense that they're giving them. When St. Lucians are going to say, I'm not putting that on me, I want to jump carnival, I love my carnival, I love my Vaval, but I'm not putting that on me, then the designers will understand what time of day it is. The designers are giving us what we are asking for. They're not just giving it to us and ramming it down our throats and pushing their hands in our pockets and taking our money. We're paying for the garbage that they're giving us because we demand garbage. I remember when certain carnival bands used to have, and I think that's one of the reasons why Tribe of 12 came about, and for that name, because people weren't jumping certain bands and at the demise of certain bands because it was too much fabric. Free up the Vaval. I remember people saying that, free up the Vaval. That's too much fabric. So we are getting what we are asking for. And I'm saying, if the government is going to take our tax money to sink into carnival, this garbage, and that's my opinion, then we need to put standards. If you want the taxpayers' money, elevate your standard. Because I cannot understand what it is the judges are judging.
That's what I'm saying. Even the persons that are doing the designs should elevate their standards a bit. Or don't let, how can somebody, even like Adrian Ogier, so to speak, people like that, associate themselves with that kind of thing? I look at these people with, at a high level. They shouldn't even associate themselves and say that's their design. No way. Like the other guy who his father is an artist, or I don't. But I can mention the names because
well, they're in the public domain. They're there. They're winning all the awards and stuff. But in all fairness to Adrian Ogier, I don't necessarily think. And honestly, I didn't watch all of it. But I don't think think Tribe of 12 was one of the worst ones. I think it was one of the better ones because they had a theme. And they portrayed that theme on stage, and they conducted themselves almost like the Guadalupans. And I, if I were a carnival person and I was jumping carnival, I would jump carnival in Tribe of 12 because it's more decent than any of the other things.
I'm not sure. I am not sure if Adrian was Tribe of 12 or whatever. But even like generally, to me, a gentleman of that caliber, I don't want him to be tainted in that.
That kind of painted with that. But guess what?
I think.
But guess what? He's banned. That's why he's banned year after year.
Tribe of 12.
Yes, and that's why he's banned year after year. Wins band of the year.
To tell you the truth, I really appreciated that band. I appreciated it, and I appreciate the fact that if he has moved away from that, that is fantastic. But other people need to take a page from his book.
Absolutely.
And move away. The designers move away from that because they're the ones designing the stuff.
And they're giving the people what they have been asking for. And I think points should be deducted.
I think you can lead people too.
Sorry?
I think you can lead people. One other issue I want to bring up. We are all making a fuss about all kinds of fish. Shark, redfish, dolphin, whatever. But there are certain issues in St. Lucia that are so important. Let's talk about the telephone company. Because it's not companies, okay? The cable companies and so on. This is atrocious. Everybody is complaining, but tight-lipped. Why? The bills are so high. You're paying for bills, you're not getting service.
Absolutely.
What is going on in St. Lucia? They're just sitting on their whatever it is they're singing about in Carnival.
And the worst thing of it all, these people now will contract other companies to conduct surveys on their behalf and call you at the most inopportune times. And just the day before or earlier in the day, you had a grievance against the telecommunications company. And you're supposed to be civil to the person who's asking you questions about the service rendered. You know what I mean? And then you say to yourself,
excuse me, please, it's not personal, but I give it to them. You cannot go to the supermarket to buy two pounds of sugar, to pay for 2 pounds of sugar, so to speak.
And get a pound and a half.
Give you a pound and a half, or give you the plastic bag.
Right.
Because that's all they're giving you is the plastic bag. You're not even getting 2 little grains of sugar in the bag. And they change the programs, they do whatever, they cut off whatever, and they also give you things that older persons cannot get anything out of it.
And you know the worst thing of it?
At my age and stage, I'm not going to sit down and flip looking for channel.
I totally agree. And the worst thing of it is they spend so much money on the VAVAL. They spend so much money on other things not pertaining to the service that they're supposed to be providing you for. And then they come on television through the executives and tell you, oh, well, work on it already. Before you had the merger, you knew what the difficulties were going to be encountered. You knew how much pressure was going to be put on your system. Put systems in place before you put everybody on the grid and then for things to be crashing. Because some of us had no problems prior to the merger.
No.
And I would really love to hear from ECTEL and those agencies about what's going on.
This feels like slavery. Slavery is not abolished, really. We are enslaved by so many things. We have to pay them. We don't have a choice. Or it appears that we don't have a choice. Okay, but if a few of us get on that road with a placard and start, maybe half of St. Lucia may join.
Take a page from the Bajans. 20,000 Bajans marched.
Why are we accepting this from the whatever they call them, not Lima, the other one, Flu.
Mm-hmm.
They're flowing our money out of us.
Well, we're allowing it to happen.
Doing.
We're allowing it to happen. We have to make demands for ourselves. Somebody sent me a picture earlier with some men all pumped up and they're playing Monopoly on the backs of the masses. And the masses are saying to themselves, they're grumbling to themselves beneath the game board, all we have to do is rise and there goes the stupid game. But we're not rising. We're letting them play on our backs and we're staying coward and submissive.
Enslaved. And we look at issues that are non-issues.
Absolutely.
I don't even understand what the dolphin thing is about. Because we're killing shark, we're killing redfish, big redfish, same size as the dolphin.
Absolutely.
And we eating it up and we selling it.
The other thing about it, the other thing about it is that we're so political in everything. So everything, and there's nothing wrong necessarily with being political, It's the partisan part of it that kills us. So something is bothering us, we're affected by something, but we have to get that push. We have to say, okay, partisan this. Why can't we do like the Bajans? Why can't we say we're marching because it affects all of us and put the politics aside and let the employers do like the employers in Barbados and allow time for employees to march. Give them the morning and tell them to come to work in the afternoon. But we have to be responsible.
We're talking about women.
Sorry?
We're talking about women and women's rights and women's rights. Mm-hmm. But there was a certain sad situation of the number of mentally ill or whatever is wrong with these women lying around the streets of Castries, and I don't know how many places. Okay, and nobody is taking that on, picking these people up. So who cares about them? Women.
Absolutely.
They're somebody's mother, auntie, cousin, and child. One other thing again I will say, and shortly, very, very short. We have a lot of little bridges in St. Lucia, in Castries. A lot of little bridges all over the place to cross the road. And under these bridges, they're so filthy. The bottles and garbage, and it's covered. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then the rain starts, and under these bridges, that's where all the thing is coming from. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, I want to talk to the powers that be. When they give money to little contractors to do jobs, ensure that the job is done well. If it's a roadworks thing, that it is done well and is marked properly so people's cars don't get damaged.
I agree.
Tell them check signs to see.
I totally agree. But thank you so much for calling and for sharing.
Okay.
It's been very, I enjoyed talking with you. But as the caller was talking about some small contracts, I noticed driving through Bexon that the grass on the side of the road was cut. So here we go again with the cutting of the grass on the side of the road. But my question is, what is the problem? What's the difference between cutting the grass on the side of the road leaving it there for the wind to disperse with it all over, and leaving the grass growing on the side of the road. Because you cut the grass and you leave it there without this throwing it away, without taking it to the garbage dump, and it's just sitting there, not in bags. Some of it is in bags, some of it's not in not bags, and it's just sitting there. So if you're not ready to dispose of the garbage of the cut grass, why cut the grass? That's my contribution on those small contracts. There's so many other issues facing us with regard to these contracts and that contract, and why. And you know, the problem, I think, is that we have no standards. We have no standards, so all those small contracts are going to go to this person, that person is going to do it their way, this one is going to do it that way, and the other one is going to do it their own way, and we the people are getting shafted all the time. So it's really
Granta Judah should cut his grass.
Sorry?
Tell her Judah cut his grass.
Let's not be.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Let's not go there.
Let's
Tell
not
him cut his grass.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's not go there.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, we still have a couple more minutes that we can take a couple calls. Final call? Okay, we have our final caller online.
Yes, Laura, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Laura, my concern is just, as you just made mention, with the telecommunications company. I have that service at home, and as a matter of fact, my phone it's supposed to be wireless. My phone is not picking up my internet at home, and with everything I've tried, I cannot, and almost for a whole month we cannot. The television, the programs that we watching right now, it's so messy. Most of the stations, it's just not good. It's not what it was before. Although before we were not too satisfied, but right now it's worse. What I'm saying is, I think what we should do is demand, or the ministry of the ministry responsible to ensure that at least for this month, for the months that we've been taking on this nonsense, at least we should demand that we pay either half or we're not paying for this month, because with the service they promise us is not what we're being paid for at all. I think we should really put our foot down.
Would we get sizable number of persons to agree with that, and to not just to agree but to actually go through with it?
They should. I mean, it is for me. I am prepared to pay nothing this month until they get the act in order. And if I think we put our foot down, we could rally and get persons to get this thing signed. The ministry should start getting up and start doing things, man. We have a lot of carelessness around this place. The institutions doing what they want with us.
Absolutely.
I tell you, I'm a victim of that, because look, I have been calling on Wasco to change the system and the way they do a number of things. And I can tell you, about 2 months ago, Wasco came, they changed my meter for no reason, and my bill went up. We haven't started using more water. We haven't done anything else. And
maybe you were underpaying all these years.
I'm just monitoring them to see what they tell me. I'm going in to get my I'm going to see how much water they say that I'm using. I was paying $24.50 a month. Right now I'm paying $70-something
wow.
for no reason. And I've always been calling on Wasco. Look, I started videotaping them now. There's a pipe they just did on the Monday, and they're so nasty. They changed the pipe. It's about a 7.5 feet of pipe. They cut it and they leave it on the side of the road. And if someone want to go and see what kind of water they're drinking, go and watch. The 2 pieces of pipe are still there. Go and look inside of that pipe and see what they're drinking. Since 1997, I'm not drinking pipe water. I boil it or I filter it. I'm not drinking water from Wasco pipe straight again at all. An experience I had, I'm not doing that. And I've been telling them, when you do that thing, because the water, Wasco pipe is messing up our house at home.
Wow.
And I've been giving them a lot of pressure for it. I've videotaped them doing the work. They're changing one length of pipe. They're fixing one length of pipe 15 times. Come on, cut a little piece, change it. Just change the whole length of pipe.
Wow.
For God's sake. The pipe I've been there for 40 years already. Change it. The nasty, come and change a little piece. You see how many little holes that in one pipe by my home. The pipe have so many little patch.
Wow.
And I know it because I'm calling on them. They came on a Saturday morning. They just came in the yard, just changed the meter, and they're going to ask the guy, what's wrong with it? He told me, my meter, they have to change it. Well, I said, but it doesn't have a problem, sir. He said, no, well, they have to change it because of whatever reason. And from the time they changed it, my bill just went up. But I call them, I identify myself, they know where I am, they know who I am, and we have to start doing these things. The cable company cannot come and do whatever they want with us.
Agree.
We should really put our foot down. And I will pay the water. I don't mind the water because I still pay. I pay under for the amount of water. Or for the price of water is still a bit low in St. Lucia. I don't mind that. but I'm waiting for them. But the cable company, we should really put our foot down
Now, as
and
for the
demand.
cable company, there was a group of concerned citizens from the South, I think, not too long ago, who had pulled themselves together and they were going to undertake some civil action. I really don't know whatever
I was
happened.
following up these guys. I don't know. I think Mr. Donnelly Laborde and
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
Donnelly Laborde? I'm not sure. That's his name.
Donley Laborn.
Right. I think he was
Yeah.
the one that was here about and some
I
other
should,
person
I should
that
try to
have
track
gone
him
hush.
down and give
I
him a
don't
call
know.
and find out what's
And,
going on.
Yeah, I honestly don't know because I was following it up. I really wanted to. And I'm not busy with service. My phone is not even picking up internet at my home. When I go other places,
Wow.
it pick up. So it's a real.
So you're
serious
paying
problem.
Wi-Fi for nothing?
I'm paying Wi-Fi for nothing. We have the
Wow.
code, the same password. And one thing again, they changed that. There's an old stupid. I don't know where they got that thing. My last thing, the phone company again. You dial a number, and I don't know where they got hash guy speaking. This number does not subscribe to this. I hate to hear that nonsense so much. This number does not subscribe to whatever, and I hang up. They need to do some people that sound more friendly, more business-like.
Not just more friendly, but business-like, but neutral sounding.
Yes,
Because a lot of the times you have these Jamaican voices
Yeah.
answering, and you know Jamaicans have this heavy accent that you can't always understand because sometimes they put their own Jamaican patois in it, and
Right.
you know it's very difficult to understand. It's annoying. It's
I have my
crazy.
phone Laura, lastly, I have my phone at home, but I cannot retrieve my messages on it because we had our own password and everything. And since the new system changed, they never told us, just change the password. Our passwords, we cannot enter it on the phone. And messages, when I raise the receiver, I can tell there are messages, but I cannot get onto it at all.
Wow.
So it's
And you
really
know when
annoying me.
when you will change your password, you lose all the messages.
I lose, and they changed the password. I think it's a system password you have to go through. And I spoke to the guy already. I can't get it. I think I still have to go to them to find out so I can change the whole password altogether. It's really messing us up. We can't get any of our messages. We know that there are messages. When you pick it up, you could hear the tone that you have a message, but you cannot.
Wow. I hope Flo is listening, honestly, but we have to leave it here. But I hope Flo is listening and really once and for all deal with the issues that the citizens are facing because they're the only ones providing some of the services, let's face it.
Yeah.
And so they know that. It's almost as if they know that, so they're holding us hostage. But thank you so much for sharing. But we have to leave it there. Thank you so much. One last email before we leave. My dear, we St. Lucians are accepting too many things to happen to us because we are just afraid to stand up for our rights and we are too ashamed to show our true feelings, I think, that the person is saying there. And it's true. We're afraid of everything. We're afraid of the dark. We're afraid of our own shadows. We're afraid of the sound of our own voices. We're afraid of everything. And and that's the problem. So we look for superheroes. We look for, those superheroes to come swoop in and save us, And then at the end of the day, when these superheroes have saved us, and we toss them aside like so much garbage because we don't need them until the next time. And the next time we need them, we don't even take the time to bother dusting them off before we put them into action to swoop in and save the day again. And herein lies our problem. I would really love for us to take a page from Barbados. I was so impressed when I heard 20,000 people, and I didn't hear the involvement of any political party. Partisan politics has its place. But when it comes to our rights, when it comes to our well-being, when it comes to how our government treats us, we've got to put all these things aside and stand united for the common good, because it's the only way we can move forward. Stop with the partisan politics. Let's stop it. There are times when it comes into play, time and place. But when it comes to things that matter to us collectively, as a nation, we've got to put it aside. So it's my hope that the powers that be, whether in the private sector or whether in the public sector, were listening to this broadcast and took from it salient points to address. Case in point, the young man who's allegedly been kidnapped and being tortured. I understand that he's asking for the transmission of the videos to somehow he would even know how prolific the transmission of these videos are. I don't know. Some of us are thinking it's a hoax. I'm hoping it is. As upset as I would be over it if it were, it's just a scary prospect to think that a young man out there has been kidnapped and is being tortured. and the family doesn't know what's happening to their loved ones. This person incriminated in the videos is not coming forward. We're not hearing much from the police force. We're not hearing from the external affairs minister. We're not hearing from the internal affairs minister as to how we're going to tackle these issues. We have a Venezuelan embassy right here in St. Lucia. We would love to have a meeting of the minds, some sort of press conference convened to allay our fears and to inform us, not just to allay our fears, but to inform us of what's going on. Very dread times, very, very, very dread times. But this is our time for now. We're all out of time. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you who called, send your WhatsApp messages or your emails. I appreciate it very much. Until next time, good night.